Thank you so much for joining me for another video. Quick recap if you're new to my channel. In part 1, we talked about budgeting categories. I took you through our budget categorization guide so that you can help understand how to categorize all of your expenses. It makes starting out in budgeting a lot easier. In part 2, I took you through how to conduct an expense audit. An expense audit is a look at your past expenses, anywhere from 3 to 6 months of expenses. You would pull out an Excel file from your bank account and you would structure your Excel file in a very specific way, and then you would categorize each transaction. And after you've categorized each transaction, you will add them up, and then you will have a clear idea of how much you're spending in each specific category. That process, however, is very manual and time consuming. The easiest and simplest way for you to do it is to use a budgeting software, and that is the purpose of this video. In this video, I am taking you through the Simplifi budgeting software. This budgeting software makes the whole process so much easier. Not only is it easier for you to connect all of your transactions, it's also going to be easier for you on a month-to-month to take a look at how you're trending through the report. So I won't chit-chat too much here. I am going to switch over to the screen share and take you step by step on how to use the Simplifi software. So let's go ahead and get set up with our Simplifi account. So as you can see here, I've already gone ahead and signed up. It's super easy. All you have to do is give them your email, your phone number, and add in a password, and it's going to take you to this account because you don't have a subscription just yet. Most of the time, Quicken will have some sort of promotion, and right now there is a 50% off promotion. So I'm going to go ahead and actually sign up for it. You can either sign up for it, just click get started, or you can see Simplifi and what it looks like. So we're going to turn that off because that's what I'm here for. So this course is here to teach you how to use this tool. So we're going to click on get started. You're going to see me sign up and pay for it. So I'm going to pause the video here and we'll come back after I've paid for it.
A few moments later.
So we've paid for our account. So now it's telling us you are all set. Get started. So here it wants me to add my credentials again, my username and password. So we'll go ahead and do that. Thank God for me, it's already saved into my computer. It makes it easier to get in. So you are on your way to take control of your finances. So here it's asking for my first name, last name, and zip code. We are going to click next. And now we are going to add our first account. My suggestion to you is to add as many accounts as you possibly can here. The more of your accounts you have here, the easier it is for you to really understand your full financial picture. So I'm going to go ahead and add my account. Once I've added that, I'll be back.
A few moments later.
I have added both my personal account that has my credit card, my bank information, and my auto loan, and I've also added my investment account. Now, what I do have to tell you though, before you sit down and do all of this, make sure you have all of your passwords ready. And my suggestion to you will be on whatever Chrome window you are using, log into those accounts on your Chrome window. Make sure you're connected in. Quicken will be able to then quickly log itself into your accounts if you already log into them on the same Chrome window platform. So for me, I'm using my lessons lived Gmail. I had to go into that Gmail Chrome, sign up for both of the accounts I wanted to add for the purpose of this demonstration, and it made it so much easier for me to get into Quicken. So now it's going to give you a quick tour to set up, but we'll skip that because the whole purpose of this course, right, is for us to get that tour. Now here is what my account has. I'm seeing my net worth. Where is my banking information? Okay, so it doesn't look like it registered my banking information. So once again, I'm going to quickly make sure I add that here. I don't know why that did not register. So securing connection. So we'll go ahead and add these. So it has detected, and this is what is cool about this account. So now that I've added my banking information, it's already started collecting bills and recognizing some recurring bills. So here it's recognizing Rently as my landlord. So it's telling me I'm all set, so I'm going to click on continue. Now the dashboard has a lot more information. I could add a spending plan. Here is a list of how much money I've spent so far. Here are my bills and payments that they believe are coming due. And then here is my rent is definitely not $2.99, I wish, right? And here is my spending based on categories. And then down here you have spending watch list, which we're going to set up here soon, a savings goal, and an overview of your spending reports, your achievements, etc. So now let's take a look at this here. You could easily move these around, right? This is your dashboard to do with whatever you want, whatever makes sense to you, right? Maybe you wanted to move this up top so that you can keep track of your spending trends over the past few months. You could do it something like this, where this comes down here. So now you see your spending and your income over the last 4 months. So it's collected data in the past 4 months. So here is your spending, your income, your top spending categories, your bills that are coming up, and each one of your transactions. Maybe we'll move the saving goals here. Eventually I will show you where and how you can completely change this dashboard. So initially, here is what your dashboard looks like. On the very left corner here, you have access to all of your different sections of your Simplifi platform. You have the dashboard that gives you this overview. On the left hand side, it lists all of your accounts. And then right over here, you have widgets that give you an overview of your overall spending. Let's take a look at this account section here first. Your net worth is always the main thing it's looking at. Your net worth is a combination of your assets minus your liability. Everything you own in terms of cash, car assets, home assets, versus what you owe in terms of liabilities. So right here, you have your banking information. You will first always have what you own first, your cash, your checking, your savings accounts, and then you will have your credit cards. All of your credit card information will be listed over here. And then you have your investments. So for my investments, I have my retirement, my Roth IRA, and my HSA. And then if I have my auto loan, which is a liability, I could also add my property values over here. So you would also be able to see your property value. Actually, I will go ahead and add the property value right now. Let me see if I can add my real estate. So I was able to find my property on Zillow. I'm just gonna go ahead and click confirm. So now that I've added my property value, you can see that my net worth has gone up. However, we do know, right, very well that usually when you have an asset that's tied to a liability, you need to offset that on your account as well. So we're going to go ahead and add the loan to this particular asset. So now I have all of my assets for the purpose of this demonstration set up, and I'm going to tell you it takes quite a bit of time, right? Not a bit of time. It's about 30 minutes to an hour because I just didn't have all of my login ready to go. But if you have all of your logins ready to go, this should not take as long as it took me. So your banking information, once again, let's take a look at this dashboard here on the left side, your accounts. This is where you always have your full overview of your spending and your full financial landscape. You have your banking information. You have your assets, right? Super simple. Now that I shrank everything, you can see how simple finance really is. Net worth equals assets versus liabilities. In your banking, you have both assets and liabilities. Your assets is everything you have in your checking and savings account. That's your cash and checking section. And then you have your credit card information, and that is your banking credit. So for me, my checks and my savings, I'm really low on cash. I only have about $400. And in my credit cards, I have about $9,000 in credit card, right? But this is where you would see your particular financial landscape. Keep one thing in mind. This is a dummy presentation. At the end of this course, if you stay until the end, I will show you what my real finances look like. On the left side of the dashboard, you have your account information. Under the account information, at the very top, you have your net worth information. I have already added all of the accounts that I need to add for the purpose of this demonstration, and you can always click here to add more accounts. So my net worth is $93,930.69. And I'm going to show you guys the breakdown of what that net worth actually looks like. In banking, I'm negative $9,391.97. In my investments, I have a total of $16,518. In my assets, I have $700,012.100. And my liabilities, I have $600,625,295. Right? So let's break each one down. Your bank account information will be right over here at the top. That's your cash and your checking account. So anything you have in your cash and checking will be at the very top. That is what you always need to be having your mind on, how much money is coming in. Credit cards will be right underneath that, and this makes up your banking information. Investments, under my investments, I was able to link my Fidelity account, and you can see this is broken down into retirement and other investments. When it comes to investments in stocks, you will most likely have two types of stock investments. You would have your retirement accounts, and we usually always advise you to, of course, put money into your retirement accounts first, and then you have your brokerage accounts that are labeled under other investments. And then below that, you have your assets. For me, my asset here is my property. I have a real estate property that is worth about $712,000. And then I have liabilities. I have two sets of liabilities, my vehicle and my home loan. Technically, I should also add my vehicle information up here, and you can actually manually do that by clicking here on add, come here to track assets, track vehicle, and you should be able to add your vehicle here, right? So I can say RAV for 2023. I believe this is worth about $29,000. Continue. So now the RAV4 is added here on the vehicle. Right? I don't know why it's not actually showing up, so we'll go here to accounts. Oh, it wants me to link financial institution. Okay, so I'll leave that behind for now, but you see that you could add your vehicle. You could add it manually, or you can add it through an institution. So let me see if I can add it. Manually add an account. I'm going to add an asset. I'm going to add a vehicle, and RAV for 2023, it's valued at about $29,000. Right now it's over here, RAV for 2023, $29,000. So as you can see, my net worth went up to over $120,000. So these are my assets. My assets are equal to about $741,000. My liabilities is that home loan and that auto loan. So you have that over here. Now let's go back to the dashboard. So you have an overview of the first part of the platform, the dashboard platform. You have all of your accounts here on the left side, and to the right side you have all of your widgets that give you an overview of how you are doing financially. Now let's look at the second section, the transaction section. Welcome to the transaction section. In this section, this is where you will see an overview of all of your transaction for the day, for the month. This is how you are tracking everything that's coming into your account and everything that's going out. Once again, what I love about this, your account overview is always front of mind, right? I always like to crunch this down so that I'm not distracted. On this dashboard at the very top here, this is where you would have all of your reminders of bills and expenses that are coming up. Like, we haven't set up all of our bills and expenses yet, but we will later on in this tutorial. Right under your transaction here, you have your table that has all of your account information, the dates, the status, the payee, the category, and the tag. At the very top here on the right hand side, you can actually search for the transaction. You can filter the transactions here by categories, by payee, by tag. You can filter it by account. You can filter it by flag. You can have different flags for different issues, right? So blue flags for this, green flags for this, cyan flag for that. You have the option to do so. You can import the data. You can export the data. Or you can even add a manual transaction. Okay, so now over here, if you wanted to export data, you will click on this, and then you will come up here and you will click on export to a CVS, and you will have an Excel spreadsheet of all of this data. If you wanted to search for a particular transaction, you could search for Lowe's, for example, and everything that's Lowe's will show up right over here. If you wanted to filter by account, you could filter by just the personal checking account, and you could apply that filter. So here is all of the information that I need just for that one account. And right over here on this gear, on the amount, you could control what shows up on this dashboard. Let's say you wanted to see check numbers. You can add that. Let's say you wanted to see reviewed. You could add that. Let's say you wanted to remove the account. Why would you do that? You probably shouldn't, but you could remove that, right? So you can control what this dashboard looks like to you. You can even control row height to be smaller, to be tighter, to be bigger, right? So all of this is an option to you. And if you click on this, you will be able to see that you could also shrink the month of December. Now you see the month of November. Here are all transactions that happened in the month of November. Here are all of the transactions that happened in the month of October all the way to September. So you could click on this and shrink November only to see October. You could shrink October and you will only see September, right? So here is the overview of the transaction dashboard. Now let's look at your spending plan. We don't have one just yet, and we can come back to this and create that later. So this is your planning section. You can create a savings goal. You can add your bills and payments. This is really where you should start after the transaction section. I like to add all of my bills here. On the first, my rent is due. I'm actually going to edit this reminder. The rent that is due is $1,900. So every month, $1,900 will be due. I also have my, let's say my water bill is going to be due on the 2nd. Water bill is going to be $100. Water. And that will be coming from my personal checking. Let's say I have a HBO Max subscription that's going to be, right? So HBO Max, that's going to be $19.99. Entertainment. This is also coming from my personal checking account, or let's say that it's coming from one of my credit cards, right? So I'm going to put here save a card, and this is going to be an exact amount. Change the date. This will be coming in on the 28th of every month. So we've added our water bill, HBO Max, Rently, right? Here, go ahead and add every single critical bill that you know is coming up every month. And every week you would come up here and you will be able to track down, well, how much income do I have coming in? How many bills do I have coming in? Let's say on the 27th, I'm going to add not a bill, but my pay. So my paycheck, there's a way for you to add your paycheck. Right, so here you'll be able to see how much cash flow do I have coming in. This is such a great dashboard because it allows you to see the money you have coming up. Before that, we have to set it up with all of our accounts. So this is how you add some of the bills that it has already recognized. By clicking here on add, you can scroll down and look for your recurring bills and payments. American Express credit card payment, that's a recurring expense for me. So I'm going to click on that and create. So now I have this expense coming in every month. Oh, I won't connect the bill, right? So that should be added here to my account. We'll keep scrolling and we're going to look for more recurring payments. OG&E electric bill, that's a recurring payment. So I want that added here. Created. And keep one thing in mind. You can always come up here and edit this bill that's created once it's created for you. Okay, so you can come and adjust the amount. You can link a transaction to if it's already paid. So you can handle all of that here on this dashboard. So now you're beginning to see that this is kind of projecting where you're going to be in terms of expenses. So what I do here, I am going to remove the car. I'm going to remove the house. All I want to be able to see are my monthly spending, right? I don't want to see investments. I don't want to see assets. I just want to see, well, how much money am I spending? And it's up to you also how detailed you want to be here, right? So for example, if you're not using these credit cards, you can remove some of the credit cards you're not using on a regular basis, right? For example, I know that all of my transactions comes from my checking account. I don't buy anything with credit cards. So now I just get to see, well, what is my spending going to look like in the next month, right? But let's say I want to add in my credit cards. Then the credit cards show up. To me, this can be a little bit confusing because what is showing up for credit cards are not true transactions that are coming up. I don't have $6,000 in transactions coming up. I only have about this amount that's currently in my reminder section. So this is why I will only keep my operating accounts in this cash flow section. But it's up to you to figure out what works best for you. And all of your reoccurring payments will be here, your bills, your subscriptions, your income. So let's add here that every other month I bring in $3,000 in paycheck. So this will be coming in on the 27th every month. I create paycheck, and it's going to go into my personal checking, and we'll create that, right? So we've added a paycheck. I'm going to add another paycheck. Let's say I have a second paycheck coming in. This one is going to come in on the 10th. So we'll create that. So paycheck one, $3,000 also. So you could tag it, but we won't. And we're going to create that. So now our paychecks are also added. Transfers canceled. So now over here, we have a better overview of all of our expenses in purple and our paychecks in green. Now let's go back over here at cash flow and see how it's changed that. Once again, I'm going to hide all of the unnecessary accounts and only show those that are absolutely necessary. So over here, I have an overview of my upcoming income. Overview. We'll have this repeat on the 27th of every month. $3,000. So now we've added our paycheck. Now that's showing up here on the left side. So you can see that our net income is $779. So go ahead and add all of your pay, all of your bills, all of your transactions in this area. And you'll be able to have a very nice overview of all of your spending. So now let's look at the investment section. So under your investment, you will have this overview. Track your total gain. So we've closed that, of course, right? You're going to have some ads here. Welcome to the investment section. Under the investment section, your first tab is your portfolio. Your second tab is your balance. The third one is performance. And the fourth one is transactions. And these are all of the transactions that have been performed, whatever investment you link here, right? And let's first start by looking at the portfolio. I'm going to be honest, this is not really something I come on here and look at on a regular basis, right? Most of the time, I set it and forget it. It's interesting, this overview is focusing more on the holdings that I have. So I know that this one is my HSA. I know that this one is my traditional IRA. So this is not how I normally view it on my Fidelity. But what I like here, nice overview. Down here, it's giving me more of the overview that I have in my Fidelity. I prefer this overview in the bottom a lot better. Today's performance, of course, today, no time weighted return performance for November. Try a different data range. So we'll skip this and we'll go to transactions. This is an interesting tab for you to just kind of see, like if you wanted to, for example, see how much dividends you were getting. But once again, this is not a place where I'm coming and checking in. I do that on my Fidelity. But it's a nice little overview because once again, just like the other transaction tab, you can close each tab and see how you've invested the money. I have automatic bank transfers of $100 every month. So that's showing up here. Right? I sold 1,200 shares of my Roth IRA in September to pay off some bills. So all of that overview is here. Once again, my $100 that I always invest on a monthly basis is visible here. And I can also see how much I made in terms of payment deposit. So if I wanted to sort based on my dividends here, I could do that. But anyhow, that's the overview of the investment section. Now let's take a look at the watch list. This is an interesting one, right? Because every single one of us have an aspect of our finances that we're particularly weak at. For me, it's Amazon. I am very, very, very bad with Amazon and Walmart spending. So for 2024, that's an area that I have to really watch out for. So create a watch list to monitor specific spending trends over time. You can track spending by categories, payee, or tag. So for example, if you're the type of person who go to Starbucks way too much, this is a great section to do that. We'll click on coffee shop and we'll create the list, right? So let's go ahead and create our watch list. I'm going to create a payee worksheet. So looking at Amazon, so anything that's Amazon related, I'm going to be tracking. And I'm going to set a target for myself to not spend more than $300 on Amazon actually, let's make it $200 on Amazon in any month. So I've created a watch list. So as you can see over here, I've already blown through that target. This is really good to see, right? Because in a month, I've spent like $1,000 on Amazon. So to set a limit of $200 is a stretch. Another one here, let me create a shopping category. So anything that's going to be shopping related, electronic, books, all of that, I'm going to be watching out for that, and I'm going to set a limit of $400. Let's say I want to set another watch list for Walmart. Walmart is another place where I get carried away just buying a whole lot of things from Walmart. So I'm going to set a Walmart watch list and set a $400 as well. So now you see I have all of my watch lists here, and this is very eye-opener, right? This month I've spent $2,000 so far on shopping. I've spent $1,000 so far on Amazon. I've spent $1,800. So I am way shy of this target. Year to date, I'm at $4,000 for shopping, which is kind of surprising because I would have thought it would be higher. So now, my favorite section. Welcome to the report section. This is where you will be every single month. And when you see me do my weekly budget, I am always in this section. So that is coming up next. Down here, this is where you have your settings. You can update your profile information. You can update your settings. This is the critical section for you. In your settings, you have the general settings. Do you want it light? Do you want it dark? You can make it darker. I don't particularly like this, but a lot of people do, so you could do that. You have your account settings. This is where you can also add and add to remove accounts. So I'm actually going to remove this account. I'm going to delete that. It's gone. But if I wanted to add it, I could add it. So you could add and delete accounts here. Categories. You can manage categories here, or you can manage them in the transaction section. So for example, for your car, if you wanted an extra category here on the car, because let's say you specifically want to track how much you spend at Shell, you could come here and add a Shell category. And this will be under auto and transport, gas and fuel, right? Create. So now under gas and fuel, you have Shell. This is if you wanted to track a specific, let's say, store as a transaction, or whatever else you wanted to do. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. In the past for me, because shopping can be such a problem for me, I have done things like adding specific stores under shopping. So I would add, let's add Amazon as a transaction, and that would be under shopping. Now Amazon is now its own transaction. So I hope you can see that makes it so much easier than the part 2 where we're manually adding every transaction. You could see that even I was exhausted in part 2 because it's a lot of work, but Simplify makes it so much easier. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. I love it when you join me for these videos and you leave me a comment, you ask me questions. Feel free to let me know. What are things that you're struggling with when it comes to budgeting? How can I help make your life a little bit easier? I want to hear from you. Leave me a comment down below. And as always, please do Subscribe, like, and share these videos with your loved ones. Everyone should be budgeting, and budgeting doesn't have to be hard. I have more videos coming up on credit cards, on making money. I have a whole series that would be coming up here shortly on how you can make more money. As you can see, I have a lot going on and a lot that I will be sharing with you guys. And I appreciate you for joining me on this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.